Hello and welcome to this week's episode of Uncorked with Funny Wine Girl. This is Funny Wine Girl, aka Janine Luby. And if you're watching on YouTube, yeah, I'm going for like a rock star look here with my no lenses and the glasses. Aren't I cool? Yeah, no, please don't tell me that I'm not. It's all right. I'm pretending. I'm totally posturing. I'm a poser here. But hey, I'm having fun. And at 54, if I think it's cool, I don't give a shit. So that's where we're at with that. So this week is a really fun episode because I know this is gonna like mean something to a lot of people. I mean, you know me, people who know me know that I have laugh to live and I believe in laughter therapy, but music therapy is also amazing. Music, and I believe in this too myself. Music has the ability to shift our emotions, to make us feel great, to make us feel nostalgic, sad, you name it, all of that. So we're going to talk about that this week. And because of that, again, for folks on YouTube, you're getting a lot of fun visuals today. I got this steel tongue drum recently. I love the sound of it. My mom looks at me and rolls her eyes and she doesn't really get it, but anyway, it was in a gift shop at a hospital and I just love it. And when I'm having a day, which is every day, I have it out and I hit it and I'm instantly like, knock off the nonsense, calm down. So it works great. And then we'll get to my guest, but I want to show off all my, because I'm not a musician, but like this ukulele that I bought
Oh,
like
it's cute.
2 or 3 Christmases ago, and I still don't know how to play it exactly. I know, wait. Let's see. Down, up, down, up. Not really good with it. I'm having trouble learning chords, but anyway. So let's get to my guest today. My guest today is Amber Viola, who has been a guest twice. You've heard her talk about her experience in the Navy, her experiences with mental health. And this time around, this is going to be a really fun conversation because she was able to help out as a volunteer with something called Scranton Girls Rock, and her daughter participated. So I want to talk to her about how it was for her, her daughter's experience, but starting off like really just diving in a little bit about music in general. So, hello, Amber, and welcome, and thank you for joining me.
Hello. Thank you so much for having me back. I love being on your show. It's always such a good time. So I really appreciate you having me back for a third time.
Absolutely. I love serial guests because it just gets more fun. We're just
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
yeah, hey, it's you. How are you? What's up? We can have a good time. Well, this is a turn from our other topics, but I think it's a great topic. And it's funny, as I was preparing for our conversation, I was trying to remember my first concert. And I honestly, how sad, maybe it's my age where I'm like, you'd think, and then maybe it's just people, it's different for different people. Like, it doesn't stand out what my very first concert was, but I will tell you, I went with my parents to see Glenn Fry and Tina Turner at the Allentown Fairgrounds.
Wow.
And I think I was 14. So that might have been my first. And I
Yeah,
mean,
I think that could be your first.
I think
Yeah.
it probably
Yeah.
was because
Seeing
that
Tina
wasn't,
Turner, like,
oh my
hey.
God. I just wish I could go back and tell that 14-year-old girl, like, you're seeing something
You're
amazing.
seeing
Because
greatness. Yeah.
exactly. I didn't appreciate it as much as like my mom, because my mom was a huge fan. And I
Right.
mean, I liked it, but it wasn't my music at the time. But that was a pretty damn big
Yeah,
concert. That
that's
was
a
cool.
big deal. Yeah.
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 Do you remember your first concert?
Yeah, I saw Limp Bizkit and Corn, and I got whiplash
As
from
you should, right?
headbanging. Yeah, from headbanging too much. I mean, I was so young, but we used to just be able to go to concerts. Like, my friend's cousin's brother, who was like 17 or 18, he's gonna drive us, and we're gonna go. Concert tickets were cheap, and so I went, and I remember they were on tour together, and I don't remember. I was maybe 12, 11 or 12 or something like that. And then I saw Lincoln Park in Philly with Jay-Z. So, and that was, I think I might have been out of high school then, so maybe I was 18.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow, those are some great shows too. It's funny though, and I imagine, and we'll talk about this because I want to hear about what influences you. Obviously, it's okay as we get older, we change in life. Our tastes might change. We might still like it. Like in high school, I was into Madonna, George Michael, but I was also into Bon Jovi. I was like kind of obsessed with Bon Jovi,
I got
and
to
I went
see
to
Bon
see.
Jovi. He played for Joe Biden
Oh,
for one of the rallies. And yeah, he's a little man. His hair was big, bigger the hair, closer to God. And he looked so good. I was like, oh my God, Bon Jovi. But he was a tiny little thing.
yeah.
Tiny. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember even for you could tell that from seeing him in concert that he was like, I think he's like 5'5", 5'6". Like he's a
Yeah,
pretty like he's a
yeah,
small guy. But I was like loving those guys back in the day with the hair, like I was high school in the 80s. You had the big hair. Madonna lasted longer for me. I think that kind of music, George Michael. And then my taste grew in college. I'm into the Indigo Girls and I saw them in concert, saw Ani DeFranco. And like, so you get this, things change through life. How
yeah.
about you? What are some of your original influences? Let me ask you too, because I want to get into how this affects like you and your daughter, but you and your mom. Like, have you taken on the tastes of like, your mom or your parents, and then are you passing it down on to your daughter?
No, actually, because I grew up really Christian and really religious, so like for a long time we didn't listen to anything but like Christian music. And so my mom was in, the 60s and 70s, so like Haight Ashbury and stuff, and she was from California. So of course, like there were some oldies in there. Of course we listened to like Tina Turner, Gladys Knight, Whitney Houston, Mariah Carey, and those are things I could get away with as far as like non-Christian music because it was just, romance songs, Celine Dion. So when I was younger, those are some of the first things. But then I found like college radio stations and I heard Audio Slave and it was, and then I was done. So my musical tastes have evolved, like it definitely like expanded wider, but I definitely was like a little rocker chick from when I first could find my own music. That's definitely where I lean towards.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and like you said, with Corn and like Limp Bizkit, like your neck. I mean, like that. I think there's such a place for that music, and I don't know. Maybe it's even the mood that where we're at. Like I remember liking Limp Bizkit a lot, and I
Yeah,
mean
they just
that
came
like.
out with a new song,
Oh,
so
they did?
yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that. Yeah. There's times I want to like, and even like with Corn or like different where you want to like just kind of like, well, Rage Against the Machine. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? You just
yeah,
really want to
yeah, you
like,
want to be angry.
exactly. Well, I am angry these days a lot. So I want to express that anger, but in a
Yeah,
healthy manner, right?
right, yeah,
Totally
definitely.
fair.
And there was a big Christian rock scene, a really like a hardcore scene. So a lot of shows and stuff took place in like church basements and after youth groups and stuff like that. I know at least in New Jersey it was really big like that. I'm not really sure how it was up here in NEPA, but that was a really big scene too. So I was able to go to a lot of shows and just see live music. So I'll go watch anybody live. When I
Mm,
was stationed in Virginia, obviously country music. So I mean, I saw Luke Bryan 3 times, and like fell in love with him live. And so I'll go listen to music. I love music. I love just seeing people, be in their element and just kind of like doing what you're made to do,
yeah.
and I think that shines through. And so I've seen Parliament, with George Clinton before. And so different stuff, Temptations, like with my mom and everything. So I'm down for live music. Jaclyn, my daughter, I took her. We went to see the Temptations Broadway at the Scranton Cultural Center.
Oh, nice.
She
Yeah,
loved
that's
it,
cool.
absolutely. And some of the songs she even knew, and I didn't realize she maybe knew some because I didn't realize how many of those songs I knew either. And I was like, oh my god, I'm singing this whole thing. And you hear it growing up or just in your house or your relatives' houses and stuff like that. So and that was amazing, such an amazing show. And me and her still talk about it. And that wasn't really necessarily our particular type of music, but it felt like home and it definitely just was, a really, really great experience.
That's awesome. And you have those memories now. Now, it's funny. You mentioned the Christian music. I do remember Striper. Do you remember Striper?
Striper! Yes! Yeah, I saw Striper.
Yeah, they look like the black and yellow, like bumblebees, kind of,
Yes,
right?
yes, yes, yes.
Yeah, as soon as
Absolutely.
you said Christian rock, I'm like, and I liked some of their songs. I remember they
Yeah.
were pretty
My
kind of
friend
popular.
was like a huge Striper fan. And they were like older when I was younger anyway.
Yeah.
So, yes, it was. I haven't heard Striper in a long time.
Yeah, as soon as you said because they were probably the only like really popular Christian
Mhm.
band that I knew of. But
Yeah.
it makes me think of too, and I had no idea back in the time that when he was here, when thinking upon like church music and everything, that John Legend had spent
Yeah,
time in
yeah,
Scranton. I mean, I didn't know when he was here, and I was like, oh my gosh,
yeah.
he was walking our streets. His talent was
Yes.
here. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, he grew up singing in church. I grew up singing in church. That's the first place that I ever sang and ever thought about picking up an instrument or anything. So there's a lot of so many musicians, especially black musicians, start off growing up and singing in church, and that's the first place that they fell in love, kind of with like the art.
Yeah. And that's, I mean, that's great to foster it early on. Do you play an instrument?
So I played keyboard for a while, and played guitar when I was younger. But normally I have really long nails. So I haven't played guitar. Jaclyn is now playing guitar and stuff like that, because I had a couple little bands that I was in when I was younger, but for the most part I would rather sing and write music.
Wow, that's really cool. And so I was, I mean, I do my stand up now, but I was a pretty shy kid and didn't really express myself, which is why I say now at 54, I'm like, whatever, I'm going to do what I want to do. That's why I'm like, even these little instruments, my goal is to work in like the ukulele into like a
Yeah,
musical comedy or something. I
yeah,
mean, and
yeah.
and it's probably the better that the worse I play, it'll probably be better because it
You could
might
do a
go
theme
in.
song too.
Yeah,
You could do
yeah.
like an opening little track.
Oh my gosh, that would be fun. That would totally be fun.
Yeah.
But the steel tongue drum is totally therapeutic. Like when I was in that gift shop at the hospital, and as soon as they had one out and I just hit it, it instantly calmed me. So for
Have you
me,
seen those bowls that
oh
the and they kind of make you vibrate a little bit?
yes.
I really really like those. Yeah.
Yeah, I've gone to Terry Granahan. I've had her on the show before. She's another comedian locally. She does it's like the sound bowls or
Hmm.
sound meditation. There's a couple different names, and I'm probably
There's
not
names
saying
for
it.
it. I'm butchering. I don't.
Yeah, me too. It's like sound bowls or the meditation. I find
Yeah.
those incredibly peaceful. And I mean, it's cool because you get to just kind of lay there like wrapped up in a
Mhm.
blanket and just let it kind of like vibrate in your body, and it is pretty cool. I think it's healing.
Yeah.
It's really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. But let's talk about, so you mentioned your daughter is playing guitar. So I want to talk about the connection between mom and daughter and how you got to experience that. So Scranton Girls Rock is something. I had Natalie Jarosky, who is there. These are like chapters, I should say. They're kind of like chapters across the country. Natalie
Hmm.
Jarosky is originally from Scranton. She lives in Orlando now. She's a musician, and she started this past summer in July was the first camp for Scranton Girls Rock. And I did have her on the show before the camp, and we were talking about like a fundraiser that they had in March, and they're going to do another one in this coming in November. But it was a pretty cool concept. I love the idea that kids don't have to have experience; they just want. And I also love the aspect too, where it seems like the kids can learn not just the music, but like the marketing side, the
Yeah.
branding side,
Yeah.
all that. But you tell me, because I wasn't there. So tell me about the experience with your daughter, and you volunteered, so you really got to see
Yeah.
it.
So I had gotten a message from her because she started up like the Instagram page and stuff. So I remember one of us followed each other and I started looking at their stuff, and I was like, "Oh my god, this is so cool." And I grew up going to summer camp, and I also then once I was older, I was a counselor. So some of those my first summer jobs were being a camp counselor. And so I always wanted my daughter to go to camp and to be able to experience that. So me and Natalie ended up connecting and hitting it off, and she was following me on social media and stuff, and had already seen Jaclyn on my social media page. And Jack, she's famous, so she's been on billboards and political commercials and all kinds of stuff. So she has her own little digital footprint. And so she asked, if I wanted to have Jaclyn go, and I was like, of course I do. And so I am a single parent, so one income household. So I remember like I didn't say anything, but worrying about like, okay, the price, I'm gonna have to like figure it out. I'm gonna pay this, a couple $100s, which is not, they could charge so much more, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, so I initially went through, and Jaclyn ended up getting a scholarship, which was, we can go back on that later. But so that whole part, and so then I was like, I really want to work with you guys too and become a counselor. So I went through all the steps with that, and it was such a great experience for me, like even apart from having my kid there. The concept and idea was so beautiful, and she had us training before we went, which was so wonderful. Honestly, for this being the first year, it was one of the most organized things I've ever been a part of,
Oh,
ever.
wow. That's
Like,
great.
just hands down, from the very beginning, one of the most organized things. So, we had the camp counselors, you had people who were musicians who were going to teach instruments, you had people who dealt with merchandise side or advertising side. Of course, there was like a nurse that we had there. We had people who were singers who came. And then there was just people who kind of just wanted to be able to hang out and like be support staff and stuff. So throughout the week, the kids, they didn't need to know anything about anything. So you could come in and just, hey, maybe I thought about playing an instrument or like music, or maybe the parents thought it was cool. You were able to kind of bring your kid and know they were in like a safe, nurturing environment, and have them come. And it's a girls camp, so we have some girls and theys, and so all the kids were there and able to be themselves and to let that shine through their fashion and through their art and also through their music. So they were able to meet people and kind of mingle, see who they were vibing with, start little bands, pick a name, work on writing a song, work on like a logo, and they made t-shirts and they were able to screen print them. They made zines for just like advertising for their band and for Scranton Girls Rock. That's where Jess Mione came in, and we were able to work with her, and she taught us a whole bunch of history throughout that, which was really, really cool. And so they were able to go through that whole process. There was some tears along the way. Some bands broke up, and new
Aw.
bands formed.
But that's
And
realistic, right? Yeah.
it was, and Natalie was just so patient and so gracious with the kids, and I love being around little kids. I think they're hilarious. So that was funny, and we had some who were a little bit more shy than others. Mine is on the shy side, and we had some that were just like ready to rock day one. And it was so amazing to watch them all come together at the Ritz Theater. So shout out to Josh Balls and for always supporting local artists and events and different things. And they were able to go to the Ritz and have their own little showcase, and they had their logos like on the back screen, and all the kids, their bands were up there and stuff, and they got to play, and it was just from like beginning to end, it was absolutely magical. I love that.
How cool is it to be a kid and to get to like form something really, really like you're creating the music, you're creating the vibe of it. Like, what's the brand? What do you stand
Yeah,
for? Like,
yeah.
what's your message? Getting a logo and getting it screen printed and then having it projected while you perform. Like,
Yes,
that's
yes.
pretty badass
And go
for
home
young
with like
girls.
little merchandise and t-shirts, and they were able to make some like she made some from I have a tank top, and so like they made them for some of their parents and siblings and stuff. It was cool, and you honestly you could see them kind of grow and like mature throughout the week, which is so fascinating to watch, and see them blossom and become like more sure of themselves. And some of the songs were so good, and I was just like, you guys did such a good job, and you got on stage, first of all, like that's number one. And Minnie was shy, Jaclyn, and but when she got up there, man, she was just rocking out, and I was so proud, and I was so shocked too. She was on the mic and everything. It's like, yeah.
What was the name of the band that she was in or that she was in?
She was in the Freaks of America.
The Freaks of America. I love it.
Yes.
I love it. That's awesome. I'm bummed that I didn't get to see that because I think that performance was open to the public,
It
right? When
was,
they did
yes,
the Ritz.
yeah.
I remember Natalie telling me about it, and I was like, okay, I'll have to. And honestly, it was just like the time went by. I didn't know what the heck day was what over the summer. So a lot of stuff going on. And when I saw the
Yeah.
photos, because I saw photos of your daughter and all the girls rocking out, I'm like, how cool does that
Yeah.
look? Like an amazing night. And for anyone listening who doesn't know, Amber mentioned Josh Balls, and I guess you could say he's still the owner, right? At the Ritz
Yes, yes,
Theater.
yeah.
Yeah, the Ritz Theater, for anyone who hasn't checked it out, I mean, it's got a history that is just amazing. We're talking like back in the day when they used to say, if you can make it in Scranton, you can make it anywhere. The vaudeville era, like this was the place to go.
Mhm.
And it's gone through many iterations. It's gone back to movies, it's gone to like restaurant shopping, and they're doing an amazing job right now with it, and to keep it alive, to keep bands coming in, to keep events coming in, they're doing a great job, and to have that stage for these young girls, how cool is
Yes,
that?
it was so cool. And he was there when they were coming in, and the kids and stuff. Because they also walked them through kind of the sound checking, and and getting your instruments prepared and how to take care of your instrument and how to properly carry it. So like Jaclyn was able to have she had an instrument that she took home and practice and brought it back every day and stuff. So it was such a cool experience, and they got to see every aspect of it, which
And
was
it sounds
really
like
neat.
that they learned from people who know what they're talking about, like different
Yes,
professionals,
yeah,
right? And
right.
you mentioned, I should mention Jess Mione too. Give a shout out to her. She's been doing a lot in the area for years. I mean,
Hmm.
I took part, and she used to do certain kinds of events where it was a combination where you kind of like, and it was women focused. It was like musicians,
Right.
and I did comedy, and I remember one woman was singing, and so she's always been a big advocate and
And I
supporter.
learned so much from her presentation that she did. I was like, I need a copy of it because we didn't even get to go through the whole thing. And there was so much history in there, and there was a lot of Black history in there too that I didn't even know about and stuff. So it was such a good aspect, and the kids were really like tuned in, especially
Mhm.
because they had the ability to like make their own, and then she's showing them the history of like where this comes from and the purpose behind it too, and kind of like getting your little message across, and how do you do that in a simple way. And it was really cool, and an approachable way for the kids too. Like everything was very approachable for them to be able to do.
Yeah. And that's great because again, you have to consider like you've got a week, but you got a lot to pack in. You want to make it simple but effective because they want to produce, from
Yeah.
start to finish. What was do you remember when she was like coming home at night? Was she like recapping like, "Mom, we did this." Like was she like really excited? What was she excited about?
Yes. She was so excited. I think just the fact of like they got to do it. Be able to touch the instruments and play them even though they didn't know what they were doing. And you have to kind of have obviously a level of trust there too with them, and a level of guidance. So when you have people who know what they're doing and they're able to come in and show them and sit down and say, hey, here's how you hold it, here's how you play it, here's what you do. So then when they take them home and are they doing everything, they know how to properly take care of them. So then things aren't even really getting damaged or like anything like that. So it was coming home, tell me about that and her friends that she made, and how creative everything was. And she loves to draw and art and stuff. So the art side of it is always going to be important to her. And so it was cool to see her kind of blossom and make new friends and have all these new experiences. And it was her, I think it might have been her first time at a camp too.
Okay.
So that was fun for her. Yeah.
That's cool. Now at the end of the week, like after the performance she did, what are some thoughts she was sharing with you? Like she like is like jazz now, like excited
Yeah,
about keeping going.
I think she was surprised with herself that she did it, and very proud of herself. There definitely seemed to be like a lot of pride in that, and a lot more self-assurance and than I had seen at the beginning of the week, because she was really nervous to get on stage. And even though like we both do a lot of things, she's very introverted. I'm like in the middle, I'm like 41 50, 49 51%. And so just her being able to open up on that side and just like really seeing her come into her own, and even just within her band being able to say like, no, I want to do this, or like I really want to do it this way or this way, because it's okay to express your opinion, and teaching them, express your opinion without like being an ass. um
Yeah.
and being able to say, but also being able to have your boundaries and say, well, this is what I do want to do this. So if I want to go in this direction or and stuff. So it was really cool to see that and have her explain it to. She was so excited the whole week, and definitely didn't want it to end at all, and could have, really wanted it to be 2 weeks long.
I'm sure it could be too, right?
Yeah,
Because that's a lot to do in one week. I'm sure they could
yeah.
expand it, but like Natalie listening right now is probably like, okay, hold on, let's
Hold
just
on.
hold on, we're just
We
getting
have to
going
have
here.
people.
That could be a goal in the years to come. It's
Yeah,
funny you
definitely.
mentioned that your daughter is shy because I always see you posting, your mini me because she seems to be social, like she's out and about with you a lot. But now, of course, that doesn't mean that she
Right.
wants to
Yeah.
talk to people she doesn't know, but she
No, she
definitely is
doesn't.
out there. Okay,
Yeah, yes. Yeah,
that
I
makes
mean, there
sense.
always is a level of social media that's a little bit fake and stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, even for me too. So I still get nervous and anxious when I have to speak or singing in front of people. And I remember a couple years back, I was singing a national anthem, and my mom was right next to me. She was like, I can feel your anxiety. She was like, I didn't realize how anxious you get. I was like, yeah, I do. I just hide it so well. I'm great at masking, and so you still get that, and she gets it too, but she's definitely, I that the whole camp experience definitely helped her blossom. And when I saw her on stage, I was like, yes girl, reel it in because you got it, you know.
Yeah. And I was going to ask you, but I feel like you kind of already started addressing it. Like, what's the importance of a camp like this? But I can hear what you're saying, like for their confidence, for like working together, for the actual literal learning about marketing, learning about like, there's multiple reasons that this is a
And it's
beneficial
nice
camp.
to be around, you know, the girls and theys and stuff, and feel comfortable in that aspect, and feel like you can just truly be yourself even with their fashion and their makeup and their hair throughout the week and stuff. You saw them really just be able to blossom into their own. And I remember for me going to camp, and you know, you it is nice to be around just, you know, girls and theys, you know, and not have the stinky boys around. So I
Yeah.
think that was very nice for them to feel comfortable. And then you had a women staff, you know, there as well. So that was able, and you're able to kind of be one on one and meet with them and talk to them. And I think there's a level of like comfort and ease, and you understand. And we also understand very well of like, how do we say what we want? How do I as an adult say what I want? But now I'm explaining it to a kid and trying to say, okay, you can have it is perfectly fine for you not to want to do that. You just have to say it nicely, and you know, did that. And I'm thinking in my head, like, I gotta take my own advice. Like, I'm over here.
You're like, hey, that sounds good. I should do
That
that.
sounds really good, Amber. You need to, you know. And watching Natalie, like, she was just, I would just watch her. She was just so gracious and knowledgeable, and she kept it together. I know she probably was flustered inside, but you couldn't tell on the outside. So
That's great. I mean, you could do that and pull it off. It's
right,
interesting you're saying about like you're learning yourself. And I mean, as adults, we need to be reminded when we're teaching
yeah,
kids, but like you're saying, it's so important. And this could be taught probably at any kind of camp. The idea that, okay, especially for women, because I mean, I'm a Gen Xer, so we know, and again, my mother's age, they weren't allowed to say whatever.
no,
Gen Xer, again, we were kind of tentative about speaking up, and I was raised Catholic and I got my shyness, and it's like, I'll, yes, sister, no, sister, I'll do whatever you want, sister.
yeah,
So it's good that as a young age, for them to learn, like, listen, it's okay to express a different opinion or to not want
right,
to do something and to have boundaries, to set them and make them clear. But, as to the point you made, but communicate them in a way where you're not like saying F off, you know what I mean? Like
yeah,
that you're
yeah,
like,
yeah,
hey, this is not cool for me. Let's do it a little
right,
differently or
right,
whatever.
yeah,
And that's, I mean, God, that could be taught. That should be taught every damn day.
right, right, right.
For sure. So did your daughter have like, I know you were saying that she was proud of herself and all that. Was there one particular thing where she's like, yeah, that was my favorite thing?
I think the writing process, like when they were writing the songs, and then actually being on stage and like singing in a mic and performing. Because I don't know if she really wanted to sing. That she did not want to do that. But throughout the week, getting more confident in that, and the writing process for her, and I think she's a great writer and stuff. So I think that really was good for her. And she always writes stories and stuff anyway, and putting that to music and things like that. I think that was really cool. And she really likes to make the merchandise too, and
Yeah.
learning the screen printing on the shirts and stuff, and be able to kind of do that, and have her little artistic side flair. And I don't know if she realized how much everything can come together, and things can be kind of intersectional with it, and you have little pieces, and it doesn't have to be one thing or nothing else.
Yeah. That, honest to God, I think that's amazing because at such a young age to see all the pieces come together and like the whole industry, like even though it's just a slice of it, that's amazing. Like that, oh my gosh, I'd be blown away as a kid to be like, oh my God, I drew that or that logo and that's
Yeah,
on a
right. And it's
t-shirt
behind
net.
me, and it and
Yeah.
seeing us like mess up, I sang, we a couple of us were singing different stuff, and seeing us mess up and just keep going and tell, it's okay, and nobody knows but us. And being able to see that we're all like, none of us are infallible, even us like adults that you think are cool or got it all together and stuff, that we all kind of can make little flubs here and just not be good at everything,
Yeah.
and keep moving. And so I think that was a good little lesson for them as well.
And I think that's so important because it's half the time. I know even for myself at 54, it's what holds us back a lot of times, fear, right? Fear.
Fear
I'm
of
going to look,
messing up, and
yeah, I'm going to look stupid. I'm
I'm
going to
gonna look
forget this.
stupid.
I'm going to mess up. And like, even with my comedy or whatever, like, it's like the audience doesn't know what's planned. So
Right.
if I forget a punchline or if I forget like a section of a joke, whatever, they're not sitting there going, yeah, you know what? I saw this on YouTube and you're forgetting to say, like, they're not going to know.
Yeah.
Or when you're
I
speaking.
sung something and I couldn't remember one of the second verse, so I sung this first verse twice. And Jaclyn was like, "Oh my gosh, you did so good." And I said, "Well, I didn't think I was like, well, I messed up." Like, and she's like, "I didn't know." I was like, "Yeah, I didn't remember one of the verses, so I just sung the other verse over again." And I was like, "Oh, really? I didn't know." So, I was like, "Wow." And I couldn't get too hard on myself either because I know for me, definitely a perfectionist. And so that definitely gets passed down to your kids, and I see it in her where she just wants everything to be kind of like perfect and everything. And it sometimes it will come together perfectly, and other times it's not. And you just got to kind of go with the flow on both.
Yeah, for sure. So
Yeah.
it sounds like your daughter obviously had a great time at the camp. Tell me a little bit more about your role because I know for this one coming up, and I want to say for any women that are around in July, if it's the same time, I'm sure it probably will be. They're looking for volunteers, looking for people to help, and you don't have to be musically inclined. But like, what are some of the things that you were able to help out with?
So I did a lot of social media for them, and I think Natalie said next year that's probably going to be my main role in it. But I really assisted, and so I worked with there was different age groups, so their bands were kind of formed within that, and then you kind of would just move around with the band or be in like the quiet room or be in the band practice room. So I was just assisting wherever they needed to fill holes in those days for it. So I would, if people needed help with snack or going to the bathroom, or if people needed help writing their songs, I'd sit and help them write their songs, work on their merchandise together, sit in band practice and just kind of, pump them up because there's people who are way better on instruments than me. So I was like, you're not going to get any instrument things from me, but I will be here and I will be in your corner and I'll be your hype man. And we will, so just hyping the kids up, making sure that everybody's okay. Any meltdowns, you can just go help them handle their little meltdown and stuff. And if the kid needs any type of attention or anything like that, that's kind of just what my role was, to be all things and nothing at the same time. So I helped out wherever I could be and filled in because everybody couldn't be there the whole 5
Mm-hmm.
days. So if there was somebody who was, working with a specific band for their band practice and they had to leave in the afternoon, then I would just come in and I would now be helping the band with their band practice and stuff like that.
That sounds great. And I love the fact that you said you'd be their hype man because how often, I mean, it doesn't like, oh, I don't, someone might be thinking, oh, I'd be happy to help. I have time in the summer, but I just don't know enough about music or whatever. But
Yeah,
being there as a guide, as a role model, as someone to bounce ideas off of, or to be like, no, you got this. Let's talk it through, or like
right.
helping them like that. That's really important to be there
It
for
was
that.
really important, and I think and sometimes they needed that because they didn't realize how good they sounded, and how good that they were doing, and you needed somebody else to be there and just kind of like, "Hey, you guys are doing a great job," and cheer them on and stuff and everything. So, yeah, I had a really great time, and I'd been a counselor before, and so that's kind of a lot of what being a counselor is, just filling in where needed, and whatever activity is going on, you're gonna just assist, with that activities. When we would do, oh, we're taking group pictures, so people were helping with like hair and the outfits and makeup and stuff like that, and so helping them get ready, then you help them move to somewhere else. And so, and they always got to eat. So you got to go make sure everybody's hydrated, got to go get food, stay on the schedule, because somebody has to be the schedule person, hey guys, we got to wrap it up.
Yeah, yeah. We're like a half an hour over. Let's get going here.
Yeah, yeah. So there's roles for everybody. And we had some ladies there who assisted with like snack time and lunchtime and stuff. And that was like their main role and focus. And the kids loved them and they were so sweet. So they weren't necessarily in on everything, but they still played a major role. Like I said, we had a nurse, somebody who could just be there and assist in case there was any like emergencies and stuff. So we had a lot of people who were from local bands and local artists who maybe couldn't be there the whole time, who would be able to come in for like an hour and just talk about their craft or sing a couple songs and showcase themselves. Like I said, Jess came in and she gave a presentation. So any type of thing that you would want to kind of come in and do, you could definitely be able to do your part with it. So I wouldn't want anyone to feel like, oh, I'm not a bassist, so I can't come help. Like, no, you can definitely come help if you want to, if you want to be a part, if you love kids, you want to see some Scranton Girls Rock out, like, let's go.
Yeah. I love that. Yeah. And this is so cool. What a great experience. So let me ask you, like, just this is not along the lines of this camp, but like, how does it compare to the camps you went to as a kid? Like, what were the camps that you went to?
Oh God. Okay. So some of them were like day camps like that, but none of them were like as, I don't remember it just being as like fun,
Mm,
and organized too. And I went to sleepaway camp a lot starting from when I was like 7
mm.
or something. So it was, you'd pack up and you go. It was in Dillsburg, Pennsylvania, in the middle of nowhere. So you go out in the middle of camp and do activities all day, and you wake up, you're swimming, basketball. You have your counselors. Some were religious camps, so they throw, church and stuff in there as well. We would have to memorize Bible verses. So I always memorized the most verses out of everybody every year that I was there. So so that was my thing. So it was like a little bit of a different vibe.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
but it was still, I think camp is like such a great experience for kids, because I think you can truly tell the kids who like were able to not always be with their parents and were able to kind of go away and even not sleep away now, because that's, we know, hey, I don't know how I feel about that now either. But
Yeah.
be around other people, grow, learn, mature, and come back. And I think you can definitely see a difference between those kids through kids who hadn't really been away from their parents and been able to do other things like that.
Yeah. And I was one of those kids. I think I came home. I think I made it like one night. I was
They
such a
were definitely
baby.
kids. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
My
I
parents were
couldn't
like,
be.
"We're not coming to get you, so you're going, and you'd be there."
I think I would have learned a valuable lesson. My parents needed to be more like that, like tough. I'm like, listen, you're staying there, kid.
And I feel like I feel like I would be your parent though, because I'd be like, "Okay, baby, come home. I'll come get you." 100%.
So obviously, I'm guessing you're both going back this year, right? You and your
Yes,
daughter?
yes, and we'll be there. And actually, the fundraiser they're having November is on her birthday.
Get out. How
Yeah,
cool is that? Now, is she going to participate in it or just
she
attend?
is. She is. She has a guitar now, so I'm hoping we'll get something together so she'll be able to play a little something
That's
for
awesome.
this.
Now,
It's
is she
gonna be at
taking
the
lessons
spot.
or?
So
Oh, yeah.
no,
Yeah.
we've been doing a lot of YouTube.
Okay.
Hopefully we're gonna get there to where she's gonna get in some lessons and stuff like that. Cause I think she's gonna be good at, she got her first little like blisters on her fingers and
Hmm.
stuff. So you gotta let those callus over and get those fingers hard and keep going.
Yeah, that's the proof right there when she's got
Yes,
like guitar hands, right?
absolutely. Yeah.
That is so cool. That's great. Yeah, and I'll have the information all about that in the show notes too. The November event that's coming up because I'll be talking to Natalie on another episode, so we'll spend time plugging that and talking a little bit more about what's planned for next summer's camp. So I'm going to start to wrap up here, but I just want to say it's a pleasure always talking to you, Amber. And
Oh,
I
I
think,
wanted to make sure I mentioned the
oh
scholarship
yeah, go ahead.
for it. So she got, I want to read it to make
Okay.
sure, but she did get a scholarship, and so they were able to cover Jaclyn's camp fees for her go, and it's the Michelle Sobolich scholarship, and she was the one who made the scholarship possible, and it's about community support and kind of ensuring that every person has access to this opportunity, because I think it's an amazing opportunity. And like I said, they could charge so much more. And I'm so sorry if I butchered her name, because I am not good at names. But the fact that she was able to get the scholarship, and me being a single mom and being a disabled vet, made it so that I didn't have to sacrifice anything for her to go to the camp. So because that's what we were going to do anyway in the first place. And so it was just the donations that we made from last year and then the donations that will be made from this year make things like the scholarships possible and the opportunities possible for kids to be able to go. And I'm hoping next year there's a little bit more brown kids that are there and we spread the word. And because I believe there was one more scholarship available that we wanted to be able to give out. So it meant so much to me, especially for Natalie to tell me, like, we didn't really know each other, and she had seen me on social media and different things. And she knew I was a single mom because I talk about, being a veteran and a single parent. So just having that opportunity made it amazing and honestly made me be able to relax and be able to like really enjoy it and for her to really enjoy it and well, and stuff. And she felt really special that I said, hey, they're giving you a scholarship because, they've seen you on social media and they think you're like a little rock star anyway in your own right. And they really want you to come to this camp and have the opportunity and not have money be the reason that you're not able to go. So
Yeah.
shout
No,
them out. Thank you.
I think that's a great, yeah. And thank you for sharing that because I think that is important. Like, that's a whole different thing. So then if you have that stress of the financial side, which, my gosh, that is stressful to not have to worry about that. But like you said, to be able to enjoy it and how cool is that? And it is a great opportunity. And you're right. Everyone should have these opportunities. So I
Right.
think that is wonderful. I'm glad that you were both able to participate in it.
Me
It
too.
sounds great.
I cried, I was like, oh my gosh, girl. I was like, because you don't know how much this means to me right now and everything. And just in the middle, my house flooded in the summer when we
Oh my
had that
gosh.
big flood and stuff. So we ended up moving and stuff. So it was like the perfect time and it just really meant a lot that she saw it. And I know that there's other people out there who would love these opportunities too. And sometimes finances really do just get in the way and it's not your kid's fault.
Yeah. No, 100%. That's so true. And so this event coming up, and like I said, I'm going to focus on it a little bit more with another conversation in a couple weeks that I'm going to have with Natalie. But so keep in mind, like, you don't have to have kids to want to help support this. Even attending the event in November or reaching out maybe to Scranton Girls Rock and making a
And it's
donation,
going to
especially.
be at the V spot.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
going to have all that in the show notes. But, if you're someone who just is a fan of music and the power of music, and Lord knows, we know the power, everybody knows the power of music. If you want to just share that and you want to see young girls benefit from that, I mean, you don't even have to be a parent or someone. Hey, you don't even need to be in Scranton, like as far as supporting and donating. So I think that's amazing. I want to thank you so much, Amber. Before we wrap up totally, tell me, is there anything musically coming up for you guys? Like, you're going to a concert, a local one? You going to any shows or anything?
I don't have any lists right now. We did a bunch of shows over the summertime. We did Road to Warp Tour over the summer. Jaclyn and I both did it.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, that was so much fun. And that was her first little Warp Tour. And I did it when I was younger. So I don't know right now, but I'm always on the lookout. She was sick during 3 Days Grace Breaking Bend, so we didn't get to go see that one. But she hasn't really been to like her first big concert yet. So she's been to like the shows around here. She went to the Road to Warped around here. So I'm waiting to get her to her first big one.
Yeah, the one. Yeah.
Yeah, at Montage, because I think my first at Montage was Little Wayne. It was
Okay.
Little Wayne with Young Money
Okay.
in like 2004. So
Yeah. So your daughter has to have the big one. That'll be
she has
coming
to
up
have,
soon. Yeah.
yeah. I want to take her to see My Chemical Romance. Like
Oh,
yeah,
wow.
that's what
That'll be a good show. Yeah, for sure.
yeah.
Okay.
Or Lincoln Park maybe, but so.
Well, hopefully that'll happen. So, and even, I should remind people too, like, we're talking about the big show, which is important, but it's also important. This is like an easy segue. Get out there and support your local musicians, local performers, because they're the ones out there grinding every week. And I mean, hey, a lot of the folks who are big household names now, they had a grind. Most of them, I would imagine most of them had a grind
Yeah.
first too. So like, you can just look on Facebook, look at the different bars websites or bars Facebook pages, or if you
There's
know
so much
somebody.
music here.
Oh my
So
gosh.
many good bands.
Yeah,
Some of
totally.
my favorite bands now are from this area or from
Yeah.
Scranton. So yeah.
And wasn't there just, was it, I want to say like last weekend or the weekend before Steamtown, like a music awards or something?
Yes, I was at Steamtown Music Awards. It's one of my favorite events here. Actually, one of my favorite bands, Roderick. Shout them out. Because when I was in the hospital last year, they held me down. I listened to their music so much, and they sent me merch, and they like wrote me, and the band would like shout me out and stuff. And I got to meet them here in Scranton, and got to see them perform at Road to Warp Tour. And my daughter got to see them perform too, and like screaming like, "This is the band! This band saved my life!" You know, she's like, "Okay, mom." But yeah, there's they were at the Steamtown Music Awards, and then you had the whole conference is called the Electric City Music Conference.
Okay, that's right.
And then the awards were the Steamtown Music Awards. So I think this is my third year being nominated. I haven't won yet, so fingers crossed for next year, guys.
Okay, we'll keep that in mind. Anyone listening? Yeah, absolutely. Again, I say there's so much going on here in Northeast PA, and there's obviously, I will say clearly, tons of talent. I mean, comedians, music, just get out there and support, honestly, because it means so much. And as someone who does comedy, I will tell you from the performance side to look out, see an audience, to know that you're making an impact, that you're connecting, you're creating something. It is truly important. So please get out there, support your local talents, musicians, actors, performers of all kinds. That's so important. Well, I'm excited that I'm actually getting to see. So I'm not a huge concert person, although I did see Cyndi Lauper this summer, which was amazing. I'm going to see this rock orchestra thing at the Scranton Cultural Center in
Oh yes,
December. It's
I
like
want to go.
candlelit.
Yes. We might be going to that.
Oh, cool. I gotta tell you, it's they said it's almost sold out. I
They
didn't.
did. They did. My
Yeah.
friend was like, "Amber, we gotta," but I was like, "I know."
You know what? I saw it advertised and I thought I was performing. I have a comedy show, but my comedy show's the night before. So when I saw I could do it, I'm like, oh, I got to get down there. I went down to buy tickets. These two seats I have are literally, no joke, the last row in the balcony, and it's obstructed or limited view. And I'm like, what?
Yeah. Oh, are you on
Now
the side?
I'm in, no, I'm in the middle and I'm in the back, and it's like,
Oh, where the thing is. Yeah.
yeah. But also, truth be told, these are like $75 tickets. I didn't want to pay 130 a piece because
No.
otherwise
Yeah.
I'm like, you know
Yeah.
what? I want to see it, but I also want to keep my budget in mind.
Yeah.
So
No,
yeah.
I that looks so good, and there is a lot of shows and stuff coming up too, and you always have like the Trans Siberian Orchestra that comes around during this time and stuff. We also get like Broadway plays, so which is super nice through here with music and different things like that. So that's always fun.
Yeah, music is definitely something to help lift our hearts in a time when we certainly need it. So,
Ooh, we need it.
oh boy, do we need it. We won't even start that conversation, or we'll be here till next week. But so this time I mean it. I get to wrap up and say thank you so much, Amber. Thank you to your mini me for, for being part of this. And I will have another conversation, like I said, in the coming weeks with Natalie and one of the actual music volunteers who taught music as well. So we'll be giving more of a shout out for the November event coming up. And then, of course, the summer camp is in July. So keep that in mind coming up in the coming weeks. I'm working on so many different schedules. I'm not even going to
Look
say.
who's coming to say hi quick.
Oh, hey. Hi. I heard you rocked it out at Scranton Girls Rock. Well, your mom says you did, and I believe it. Okay, she's a little shy. But you know what? That's
Yeah,
cool.
yeah.
That's cool. Hey, I get it. I get it. I would have been the same exact way. Totally. I totally would have. So again, you have to go to, so folks listening, you got to check out YouTube so that you could see Jaclyn, right? It's Jaclyn.
Yes. Yep.
Jaclyn was there.
Jaclyn.
She made a guest appearance. She's like, hey, I know I rocked it. I'm out of here now. And that was it. So, but keep on listening every week. I got some great guests coming up. Like I said, I won't even try to give you guys an idea of what's coming because I do have some great folks who are tied to a documentary called Loud Enough, where a woman could not rely on the justice system. So she had to take it into her own hands, tied to sexual assault. That is going to be very powerful. I'm going to have some conversations with the filmmaker, the young woman who the story is about, her mother who supported her in her fight, and then a couple folks from the legal side of things. So that'll be coming up in the weeks ahead. Yeah, I cannot wait to have this conversation. It's basically, I want to say what happened in the Midwest, and whatever state it was or the city or whatever the region, she basically called her own grand jury. because they wouldn't.
Oh
So
wow.
yeah, so this it's a powerful documentary. In fact, I'm not going to say too much about it because I didn't watch it yet myself. I have the link, so I'll get to watch it before I have the woman that it's about and the producer of the film who took it out there. And I think now more than ever, although always like I won't get into the news because it's so sad and heavy all the damn time, but hello, you know, come on, we need justice, we need to advocate, and we can't when we can't rely on other people to do it, we have to do it
We have to do it
ourselves.
ourselves.
So that's coming up in the weeks ahead. So if you know of a woman that you think is, hey, she's awesome, reach out to me. If it's you, maybe it's you. If you want to talk, reach out to me. Tell me your story, and we'll have, I'd love to talk to you.
Advocate for yourself.
Advocate exactly. Don't instead of just saying, "Hey, I'm waiting for somebody," you reach out to me and say, "You know what? I have a story to tell," and we'll talk, and I'll get you on here, and we'll share so that other people can be inspired, informed, and maybe even a little entertained because that's kind of the idea I have here every week. So I will close by saying I appreciate you from the bottom of my heart and the bottom of my wine glass.